Hey, I think most everyone out there is aware that this is election day, even though a lot of us are trying to ignore that fact because we don't want to know what's happening. We don't want to know what happened even until it's done. Because I'm just like, I just want to wake up, hear the news, and deal with it. I don't want to deal with the anticipation and the ups and downs of the evening, etc. Which is one of the reasons I'm going to be doing a live chat tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time to just distract myself and anyone else who wants to be distracted from what's going on. Feel free to join us tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 8 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to try to talk about everything but the election. I'm sure we'll talk some politics stuff, but just like I said, a distraction. But as I said, coping with things after they happen, which is what I said a minute ago, that brings me to the topic I want to talk about right now, and that is, what do I think is going to happen after the election? People are like, what do you think is going to be the aftermath if X wins or Y wins, blah, blah, blah? Is it going to be upheaval? Is it going to be civil war? Is it going to be massive violence? And to those people, I say, I just don't think so. I mean, I know there's like 3% on each end that just wishes that would happen. You got the Antifas on one end, you got the Boogaloo Boys on the other. And boys is a great word for them because here's the thing. We all know Antifa are children, but well, I mean, literally mostly. If you ever seen them, they're mostly like 16 to 18-year-olds that dropped out of school or living on the streets or whatever. But the Boogaloo Boys, even though they're older, they're still boys. Because here's one thing. All these guys that are like, I'm going to take up arms if this happens. They're probably not going to, because people that have actually had real world experience and know how to fight a revolution or know how to fight anything, period, know that the first way to do that is not standing on front of your camera on the internet screaming, I'm going to go fight the government. People who say that are the ones that are most likely going to hide in their basement if things do go wrong. Or pretend like, oh, I never said that. So I'm not really worried about the Antifas. I find them ineffective and so few of them. Like I said, I think they're like the modern day Klan as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of people say, well, no, it's more like the Boogaloo Boys and the Proud Boys are the modern day Klan. No, I think they're different than the Klan. I think Antifa is more like the Klan. And I know I'm getting off topic here. But that's what these videos are about, right? Me rambling into a camera and people watching me act like an idiot. That's what people love. Not that I'm acting, of course. But getting back to topic here. Do I think there's going to be massive violence? No, because like I said, there's so few on each end that really want to see it happen. And most of them are cowards when it comes right down to it. We know Antifa when it comes one-on-one, face-to-face, or someone that actually fights back against them. Cowards. Boogaloo Boys. People that are cowards are usually the loudest ones. So I don't worry about either one of those extremes. And call me crazy, but I have faith that most people in the middle, you know, that other 94% of us, when you take out the extreme 3% on each end, they're more reasonable people. They understand that even though we all vehemently disagree on some things, probably 20%, maybe even 30% of things, we all disagree very sharply. But on the rest, we mostly agree. We're Americans. We have a core set of principles that most of us agree with, regardless of what side we're on, left or right or red or blue. Most of us are purple. Most of us are somewhere in the middle between those two extremes. So we're not the type of people that just overreact or act like children. Like I said, I like to think we're responsible adults who have faith in our fellow American. This whole, that American there, he's not a real American, he's my enemy. I don't go for that shit. I don't call other Americans my enemies. Period. We have real enemies, China, Russia, etc. Iran. We don't need to try to create enemies inside our borders. Just because we disagree on abortion or gun rights or the First Amendment even, that doesn't make us enemies. It just means one of us is wrong. We all like to think we're the ones that's right, but means someone is wrong. And I don't mind if I know, hey, that fellow American over there, he's a little misguided. He's just downright wrong. And sometimes he's just a bullshit bigot asshole. That's fine. But he's still an American and he's not my enemy. He might be my competition when it comes to enacting what I believe is right in this country, but they're not my enemy. And they're definitely Americans. I'm not going to call someone, you're not an American just because you don't agree with me. That's as un-American. Any person who says that, anyone who says, if you don't agree with my political beliefs, then you ain't American, then they're not an American. period. At least they don't understand what being American means. A real American, if you're at a football game or a baseball game or whatever, and they play the anthem and you stand up and a guy next to you chooses not to, and then the guy next to him says, "Stand up, asshole." If you're a real American, you'd tell telling the guy to stand up, "Shut up. He has every right to sit down. We don't got to like it. We don't got to like him." Me and you can meet afterwards, talk about, can you believe that douchebag that wouldn't stand? But he's got every right to not stand because this is America. We're free people. We don't say, he's not a fucking American because he didn't stand up. I'm like, actually, he's doing the less popular thing that is well within his rights as an American. So in many ways, he's being very American as far as I'm concerned. Disagreeing and having different philosophies is the American way as far as I'm concerned, as long as we keep our core principles, the Constitution. Like I say, we can disagree on things all the time, as long as our solutions fall under the Constitution. When they don't, that's when I have a problem with certain groups or certain sides or certain issues more than anything else. But like I said, getting off track again, getting all rambly. I just don't see there being a massive violence after this election. There's going to be some, and the news is going to make it look like the world's on fire. Just like when they go to one little raggedy area of Portland that no one goes anyway because it's the park blocks of Portland where the homeless people hang out. And they're going to emphasize that and make it look like the state of Oregon is burning to the ground. They're going to do the same thing. With the Trump caravans thing. We had one here the other day. I got behind one, which they pissed me off because they went 25 miles an hour over we have a lane of road here that goes from 3 lanes to 1 to 3 again as it goes across the little bridge. It goes to 1 lane for each direction. And it took them fucking forever to mix in and get through that bridge. And that was the thing that irritated me. But as far as them riding down the road with their flags flying and everything, I'm like, that's America. People are like, it's intimidation. It's not intimidation. They're not saying, if you don't vote for Trump, we're going to beat you up. That's intimidation. But just proudly flying their flags, driving down the street or on an overpass, that's America. That's awesome. I love seeing that shit. It's amazing how one side tries to demonize just basic American behavior. Exercising your freedoms. If someone is trying to intimidate someone, like this whole thing of going around with people that have Trump signs in their yard and painting a red dot in front of their yard, or a blue dot in front of people that have Biden signs, like later we're going to come back and we're going to remember, that's intimidation. That's stupid bullshit. But driving down the road in a caravan, flying your flags, honking your horns and waving to people, that's America. But like I said, I don't think there's going to be massive violence because even though I say we disagree on a lot of things, I think what separates a lot of us at the polling places is things like abortion and gun rights. It used to be gay rights was one of the big things. I don't think that's the case anymore because recent polls of people that are staunch Trump supporters seems like they're like, I don't give a fuck if people have equal rights. I don't care if people marry whoever they want to marry. So kind of dispels that whole the right is anti-gay and the left is the only pro-gay side because it seems like both sides are pretty pro-gay now. At least as far as, hey, you got a right to do whatever you want to do. Just don't try to make me do it. Which I don't think any gay person would ever try to make any straight person marry someone of the same sex. Now, they might, maybe some sort of weird kink or something, I don't know. But I just don't think it's going to be a big problem. So really, I think what most people disagree over now are abortion rights, gun rights, gun rights is totally protected by the Constitution. Abortion, a little more gray area there as far as I'm concerned. And I can see both sides of the argument. I don't see both sides of the gun argument because it's purely we have a right to have access to whatever any other soldier would have access to uninfringed. Abortion, I can see how it can go either way, and I think it should be more of a state issue than a federal one. And another thing is religious liberty. That's another thing that separates a lot of us. Everyone out there knows I'm not religious at all. I don't believe in religion. I mean, I believe in it. I know it exists, but I don't hold any of their doctrines to my heart. You know what I mean? But I still do believe people have a right to exercise their religion, especially in the privacy of their own homes. Now, when they open a public business, it becomes a little bit different. But I don't think they should have to do things that are devoutly against their religion. Like if you're a Jewish person and you own a bakery and someone comes in and says, I want a swastika cake. I think you have every right to say, no, I'll make you the cake. Then you can put a swastika on it if you want, but I ain't going to do it. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Same thing. Even I feel the same way about like like say it's a lesbian wedding and they go to a bakery and they're like, we want it to say like, we're going to scissor forever, scissor until the sun goes out or whatever. I think the baker has a right to say, well, I won't discriminate against you as far as baking a cake, but I'm not going to put that on it because that is against my religion. And as long as they still have means to get that put on the cake, like they can write it on there themselves, or there's another bakery down the street that will do it, as long as that person's religious convictions haven't, separated them from any liberty, meaning, oh my God, because that person wouldn't do it, it's not available to me. Well, no, if there's a bakery next door that's like, we specialize in lesbian scissor cakes, well, then you're not disenfranchised at all. That one bakery decided, well, we'll make you the cake, we just won't write on it, blah, blah, blah. And if most people agree that everyone should have right to have a scissor cake, they're going to see those two bakeries side by side and say, oh, this one says yay to scissor cakes and this one says no, we're not going to go to them. Let the free market sort it out, as long as anyone's not being disenfranchised. But like I say, I'm covering every topic here except for what's going to happen after the election. But after the election, there's going to be upset people, whichever one wins. There's going to be, no matter who wins, you can guarantee 45% of the population is going to be pissed. And probably 1.5% of that 45% is going to be pissed to the point where they're going to do stupid shit. But we'll deal with them. Either way, the police will be out there tomorrow, and plus society will deal with them. I mean, if people are out acting a fool, I mean, you can only, one man can only cause so much trouble in a room of 200 if the other 199 think he's a fool. So I think society will deal with the crazies. And like I said, it's not going to be widespread. It's not going to be huge. It's not going to be boogaloo. It's not going to be civil war. The union isn't going to dissolve. The people who say that shit on the internet and the big gun channels that cater to the fucking boogaloo boys and the tacti-tard wannabes. Here's the thing. If you want to be a soldier, if you want to dress up in fatigues and hold an AR in front of the Capitol building or something, go join the National Guard. Go join the Army. No one's stopping you. You're not a militia just because you show up to enforce a personal political opinion. That's not what militias are for. So fuck those people. Those people that are like, these militia guys, they're not fucking militia. Period. We need to take back the fucking militia for gun rights. For people that are pro-America and pro-2A and realize we disagree on some things. Militias might often be called to enforce things they don't agree with, but it's constitutional. You know what I mean? Like there's lots of ideas I have about things like healthcare, etc., that I think would be ideal in an ideal society. But then I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can make it work within the Constitution. So, oh well, so that's a militia. Militias don't have political beliefs. Militias are just there to defend the people and the society. So, like I said, don't think there's going to be any major issues. I don't think we're as divided as people say we are. Like I said, I think we agree on 90% of the stuff, or at least 80% of the stuff. I sit down with people all the time that are complete liberals and people that are complete conservatives. And about 10% to 15%, 20 maybe of the top of the conversation is different. And sometimes they say things in different ways, but at the end, they're saying the same thing on 80% of the stuff. So I don't see where we're that divided. I know a lot of people live in their conservative bubble or their liberal bubble, and they think, oh, all them conservatives, they disagree with everything I think I hold dear. That's not true. Get out of your fucking bubble. And people live in a conservative bubble. Oh, all those liberals disagree with everything I hold dear. Not true. Get out of your fucking bubble. You'll find out you agree on a lot of things. And I think we need to start stressing our agreements and not our disagreements. It's better to talk to someone than about someone. So talk to people. Settle things. Believe me, I know it's hard to get some people to talk to you, especially people that have something to hide, but those people aren't really worthwhile. People that will talk to you, talk to them. Like instead of telling someone, go read a fucking book, how about saying, hey, would you like to read this book? That's that little difference there makes all the difference in the world. So, like I said, I'm an optimist in some ways. I'm a realist in most ways, but I'm an optimist in some ways, and I think it is kind of being a realist to say that we agree on a lot of things. And if we started being able to accept our differences and just base it on the Constitution, which I think we have a good chance of now with the Supreme Court, we accept losses, accept victories, and don't be dicks about it when we win. Don't be sore losers when we lose. As long as the Constitution is being served and the Union is strong, we should be able to be happy. I think there's middle ground for everyone, except for things like gun rights, free speech, etc. Those things are absolute. And everything else, everything that's in a gray area, you win some, you lose some. And I think we need to get back to more of you win some, you lose some. And then if you lose this time, you try to win next time. If you win this time, you try not to lose next time. But like I said, long, rambly video where I covered everything but what I wanted to talk about almost. Just don't think there's going to be huge ramifications. I think most of us, especially people my age, are old enough to remember that, hell, they ain't shit changed under any president since I've been alive. It's all the same old shit. We need to stop looking at each other and see how much we disagree with each other. We need to start looking at each other and seeing how much we agree on, and then start looking at the people that are in power, the elites and the ones who want to think they're better than us and above us and they're not part of us, and start saying, hey, we all agree on these things. How come you haven't done anything about that? How come you haven't done anything to increase opportunities, to help people in need, to provide better mental health care for veterans? All these things we all agree on. Why haven't you done anything about that? Why do you just spends like you spend all your time on the 10% of the stuff that will divide us so that we don't pay attention to you? That's what we need to start doing. But like I said, day after the election, week after the election, year after the election, we'll all still be here. We'll still disagree on some things, but I think we'll still agree on most things. And if we can start focusing on the things we agree on, we can start doing something about the things we disagree on. Hey, this is the Yankee Marshal, just reminding everyone out there that if you disagree with anything I say in any one of my videos, be it something political or tactical, I am going to give you the opportunity to come talk to me face to face instead of just having to put stuff in comment sections where someone might not even read them. You can come in one of my live chats and tell me off in person. You just have to send an email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com, and in the subject line of that video put slap the yank, and then I will get back with you and set up a time where you can come in one of the live chats and tell me off face to face.